Good evening and welcome back to Falcon Blues TV for our very first match preview of the new season. And I'm delighted to be joined by Ger from the Leeds View. Our game on Monday Night Football. Monday night, first game of the season. I'm made up with that one, to be honest with you. But Ger, thank you very much for joining me. Hope all's well. And welcome to Falcon Blues TV.
Thanks for asking me. Yeah, I'm the same as you. Monday night under the lights is nothing better than a proper game of football. And I'm really excited about this game. It's great to be back in the Premier League for hopefully longer than most people think we'll last.
Yeah. Well, how do you think then? I mean, obviously you've had the promotion and everything last season. How do you feel that what you've learned last season and in previous seasons in the Championship will hold you instead coming back into the Premier League then? That's going to say, okay, we've been here. We know what we need to put up with. Daniel Farke's been the manager and he's been the manager in the Premier League as well. What does he need to do with this Leeds side to keep them in the Premier League? First and foremost, really, I suppose.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot said about what Leeds need to do this season, but I think the foundations were started last year. It's a very decent young squad. There's players in there with bits to prove as well about being Premier League players. Dan James, Joel Piroux wants to prove that he's a Premier League striker. He's been chomping at the bit to get into the Premier League. He's there now, has to go and prove it. Ethan Ampadu has been with Premier League clubs as a younger player. He's now a skipper, so he's going to want to prove that he's a Premier League level captain. And then the new lads coming in, obviously DCL signed for us today. He's got a bit to prove as well in terms of staying fit. Can he then do it with another side? So, yeah, there's an awful lot of stuff there, but I think the big thing that came out of the summer was the ownership. We're owned by 49ers Enterprises, and the ownership kind of they're big into data, and they kind of analysed an awful lot of what's happened over the last 6 teams that have come up and all gone straight back down and what's needed to stay in the Premier League. And one of the things that popped up, I think Russell Martin said it when he was asked about what his regrets of the Premier League time were. He said, we didn't buy enough physical players. Leeds have brought in 8 players over 6 foot in height. They've brought in, and we've been calling ourselves Big Bastard FC, but like they've brought in big lads to try and make sure they're more physical. They're not finished. The pieces are not finished by any stretch of the imagination, but it's an awful lot more solid look inside. And Leeds have been in the Premier League and the Championship historically weak enough on set pieces, attacking and defending. And I think with the players they brought in this summer, that's an area they've looked to try and lock that down so they can compete in that end. Possibly similar to what you guys have done over the last couple of years under Sean Dyche, where it's like, be hard to beat, nick a goal on a set piece, or be more direct, and you've got a chance of staying in this league. So I think they're looking to come and upset the apple cart a little bit.
Yeah, I think with the announcement, what you're saying about having big lads in the side, Everton have got that situation as well, but also the likes of Arsenal, where it's always set pieces and that kind of build up in their play. And with the announcement that they're going to be scrutinising set pieces a lot more and pulling in the box and stuff like that, it's going to be a tough one. And I can see it being Everton and the 3 other sides that have come up for promotion who are going to be the ones who will get penalised for it. Absolutely. No one else will. Everton, yourselves, Sunderland and Burnley, we're all getting penalised. So it's probably going to end up like 3 penalties each on Monday.
I hope not. But that happened to us the last time we got promoted during COVID. The first game was against Liverpool, and we got done for the new handball where it bounced up and hit the defender's hand. And then by the following week, they changed the rule because it was an accidental handball. But we had conceded a goal and we lost 4-3 in that game. So if it's going to happen, it'll happen to one of us. That's nearly nailed on, guarantee. But like, there's been so many rule changes for this season. I think everyone's kind of talking about them. But at the same time, give it 5 or 6 games and these will all stop being enforced and it'll go back to the way it was. So, I mean, I don't think anybody really thinks that only the captain is going to go and talk to the referee during the game from now on. That's gone. And I think the 8-second rule that's come in for the goalkeepers will probably last a couple of weeks and then it'll be back to 2.5 minutes with the goalkeeper with the ball in his hands. So, yeah, hopefully it gets out of the way on Friday and Saturday and somebody else does it, so maybe there's a bit more scrutiny on it and the referees relax a bit come Monday night. But yeah, I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But I do like the direction they're going in. I think as Leeds fans, we're very realistic about this season. We know it's going to be tough. If I was given 17th right now, I'd bite your hand off and take it. But I think they have to look at teams that have fought down around that end of the table, the likes of yourself, the likes of West Ham, and look at that blueprint and go, they were big physical sides. They capitalized on set pieces. They were hard to beat sides. They were well organized. And I think if they've looked at that blueprint and went, that's the first step to establish yourself, and then we can build from there going forward.
I think as well with the likes of teams that are going to be playing in Europe and are going to be involved in that Thursday, Sunday fixture for a good good 3 or 4 months leading up to Christmas. That's they're the kind of the periods where you get your points, you grind out your results, and you know if all of a sudden Fulham are played on the Thursday and you're playing them on the Sunday, that's perfect for you. You've had that full week's rest. Similar to Everton, I think that with Everton as well. I think, you know, whilst, you know, Man United are going to be a better side this year, you know, Spurs are going to be competing in Europe, but then you've got like Palace, Forest, and then the regular 6. You know, it's nearly half the league competing in Europe. So there's the opportunity to get your points early, and if you're smart about it, you'll be prepared for that Sunday game every week, whereas most teams won't be. So I think that there's a good chance that you'll see. I think you'll see the likes of yourselves, Burnley and Sunderland picking up points over that period. I really, really do. But look, moving to Monday then, first game of the season. What are your thoughts?
I'll be honest, when I saw the fixture list come out, I went, great, that's a good opening start for us against Everton. I've kept an eye on you guys for a couple of years because obviously I do loan watch on our channel and Jackie's been playing for you guys, so I've had to watch that with interest. But
condolences.
yeah, not a popular figure, but anyway, yeah. But I've kept an eye on it, and I kind of thought, even last season, I thought we had a decent enough side, and I thought, yeah, I'd fancy this side against an Everton side. But obviously, you've had a really big summer of change. A lot of players have left your club. I mean, you lost some really good experience, and Doucouré is a big exit for you guys. But I think you've brought in some interesting players as well. Obviously, Jack Grealish coming in, whether he's involved on Monday night or not, remains to be seen. I think he's in the same bracket as Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
Is fit, but hasn't had a competitive preseason behind him. So does he play in that game? But I think Dewsbury Hall's a smart signing for you guys as well. Interesting to see how Barry gets on up front for you as well. So, I mean, you've had a summer of change. We've had a massive summer of change. So you really don't know what you're going to get from either side going into that game. It's their first chance of a competitive match. We've had a good preseason. We've drawn against Manchester United, drawn against Villarreal, and drawn against AC Milan. But that doesn't mean a whole lot when the season starts and it's competitive football. So I think we learn an awful lot on Monday night. But then we've got Arsenal and Newcastle after that. So we're not expecting a huge amount from those 2 games. So the first game for us to get something on the board is important to us. I mean, I don't think a draw is a bad result for either side opening day of the season, but I'd love 3 points.
Oh yeah, I think the draw would suit us both at 100%. Only because it's moved from the Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff, what we would have expected, to a Monday night. And then the ball suddenly moves into your court. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, your first competitive home game, Monday night under the lights at Elland Road. Horrible place to play. You know, you should bang up for it. Yeah. You know, hopefully Everton are feeling exactly the same way. And, you know, it make for an entertaining game more than anything. But yeah, I think given the current situation, the way we're still looking for defensive signings and things like that, I think a draw, ideally would suit us both.
We're in the opposite. We're looking for attacking signings. We have our defence sorted, bar maybe a fullback cover they're looking at maybe in the next couple of days. But we've brought in 2 new centre-halves. We brought in 2 central defensive midfielders to add to what we've got there. We're playing a 3-man midfield now. We were historically, under Farke, it's been a 4-2-3-1. Now it's a 3-man midfield of Longstaff, Anton Stack and Ethan Ampadu, which is a very defensive, hard-working midfield. So we've done it the opposite way around. We started at the back, new goalkeeper as well, and we tried to build that way. But we're probably lacking the attacking flair that's going to be needed to create chances. So it could be a bit of a grind. We might actually see ourselves cancelling each other out. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about attackers. Let's talk about Leeds' new signing and our former striker, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's moved from Everton to Leeds. Well, not even Everton, moved from nowhere to Leeds on a free transfer. When that was first getting sounded out, what were your thoughts, and what was Leeds fans' thoughts on it? Was it positive, or was it like, I see your face. I see exactly your face doing that and thinking, I know.
Yeah, it depends who you talk to, because if you look at the Twitter fan base, which are usually a vocal minority anyway when it comes to Leeds, like players get abuse on Twitter, and then you go to Elland Road and they're cheered, so it doesn't track like. But it's been split. I think there's an awful lot of people see the value in bringing him in, but it has that big strong caveat beside it of if he stays fit.
Yeah.
And that's obviously been his history over the last couple of years. I spoke to Matt Turnbull, who's an Everton fan on my channel, for the review, and he said the same thing. Like, maybe he was a victim of the style of football that was played under Sean Dyche, where under Ancelotti he was far better. Maybe that contributed to some of the injuries that he got. I've tried to say to Leeds fans, like, the muscle injuries, the hamstring is the big one. But if he gets through his medical, you've got to assume that that's okay. Outside of that, it's bone injuries, and there's not a huge amount that a player can do about a broken nose. That just happens, or a broken jaw. It just kind of happens. But I think they've seen enough in the medical. They've given him a 3-year deal. Now Leeds have gambled this summer. They brought in Lucas Meche, who's a striker from Wolfsburg, on a free transfer, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Both of them have a pretty extensive injury history, so they're kind of gambling that at least one of them will be okay, which I hope both of them are. But I think the way Leeds are going and how they're setting up, there'll be an awful lot more crosses going into the box. I mean, Dan James' output over the last 2 seasons for Leeds under Farke has massively improved. He scores goals now, but gets assisted. He was their second highest GNA, or highest GNA for the season last year, with 24, 25 goal contributions. So those kind of players we've got that can put balls into the box that would suit Dominic, but it all depends on the injury history, if he can keep fit. But Personally, I think if he does stay fit, he's an incredibly useful striker for us to have. He knows the Premier League inside out and back to front. He's from Yorkshire originally, through Sheffield, but he's an England international as well. Like, at his peak and his pomp, he was an England player, and he scored 4 goals for England as well. So you're not a bad player if you get 11 caps and 4 goals. You're a decent enough player and a good England side. So, but it just comes down to the fitness. I don't think he'll be involved on Monday. I think if he even makes the bench, he'll be lucky on Monday, because again, Farke is a stickler for having players up to speed. Like, our new goalkeeper's only played 45 minutes, and I'm saying he probably doesn't play on Monday night either, which we probably could do with him playing. But yeah, it's I think it's a solid signing. He's not the last striker we bring in. They are still looking for a main target at number 9. They've confirmed that today as well, pretty much. But it's a very useful addition to our squad, and I'm happy to have him. The other one coming back is Jack Harrison, coming from you guys, which is a much different conversation.
Well, we'll have that in just a minute. But just thinking about Calvert-Lewin, then I agree. I don't think he'll feature on Monday. He's played 31 minutes of football since January. Yeah. You know, he's had no pre-season. He might be fit physically, but not match fit. Nowhere near. No. Even when he come back for those 4 games towards the end of the season, where he was literally coming on 15 minutes, half an hour at a time. Yeah. And he just didn't look ready. He's literally coming on because we were 3 or 4-0 up or whatever. Yeah. Coming on for better.
For the boy more than anything else.
Yeah. And, the injury, he was just getting into it. He literally just scored. He scored that goal against Spurs. And then the next week he gets injured, and then everyone's like, oh, well, there we go. We're back to normal with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But I think for Calvert-Lewin, I was one of his biggest advocates last season and for Benny's season, but I think for Evertonians, it got to a point where if you aren't scoring goals, you can run around all you want, but your job as a striker is to score goals.
Just put the ball in the back of the net, yeah.
And I think he's I think he's just been badly advised for the last 18 months as well by his agent, who he's recently sacked. Yeah, he's had his issues with our fans. I'm not going to say he doesn't help himself with the stuff with the modelling and things like that. What you do outside of football is your thing, mate.
It's your business.
Yeah. But I don't think that helped in a way. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, you're not fit for Everton, but you're out doing this, and then you come back to Everton and you're not doing this. Yeah. You're not doing what you should be doing, and it did get a bit frustrating. Yeah, he had an absolutely excellent season under Carlo Ancelotti, but then it just dried up. He struggled with one-on-ones. He struggled, open goals, just trying to find the net at any time. He's just right place, but just the wrong time. Do you know what I mean?
A huge amount of that is confidence. I mean, when I played, I was a striker, and I know strikers can be streaky, and it's usually about, you need something to go in off your backside into the back of the net, and then all of a sudden you're off the mark, and you can build on that. The off the field stuff is interesting because obviously a portion of our fan base jumped on it straight away. Oh yeah, we've had it as well. Like, our goalkeeper's been under a lot of pressure for a couple of years, and after our first season in the Championship where we didn't get up, he posted a picture on holiday, and the abuse he got for going on holiday, and I'm like,
let the man be charged. Let him get his head back.
Yeah, Dave in Tesco says you can't have a holiday. You should be working hard. I mean, it's silly stuff, but I've always been of the opinion what you do in your personal time is your business. It's none of my business, and I'll keep my nose out of your business. But when you're around the club and when you're playing football and you're during working hours, and I'm going to sound pure Roy Keane on this, but come in and do your job and do it well. Nobody will care. Yeah, your personal life is your personal life then. But if you're putting the ball in the back of the net, or if you're not at least doing that, if you're contributing 2 goals, if you're involved in the build, even the second pass, nobody will care as long as you're contributing to the team. The second you're not doing that, all of a sudden a spotlight goes on everything else you do, and is what it is.
I think he's capable of doing it, because when like you just said there, if he wasn't scoring goals, he was getting involved, but he was having, because of the way he was set up under Dyche, he was having to make his own look really at times. So it was like, well, I'm trying to put the ball in the box, but I'm the one meant to be in the box. Can I have someone in the same postcode as me, please? And then maybe we can. Well, maybe I'll score a goal. And instead, it was like he was working off. The ball will go back to someone like Decore. Bust a gut. Decore's passed it back to Tarkowski. It's like, mate,
dead then.
Come on.
And
but there was never any kind of, well, why is no one telling the midfield to get the ball that way? You know what I mean? And then when it was going to our mate Jack Harrison and ending up in Mersey.
Rosehead. Yeah. I've seen that this pre-season already was crosses. They just bypassed everybody. But it was interesting that I did watch an interview that Calvert-Lewin did. It's been shared around, obviously, because he's signing for Leeds now. It's gone around. But he was talking about under Ancelotti, and again, as a striker, and I coached for a while as well, your instruction is always stay within the width of the posts. That's from the halfway line straight up. That's your channel. Stay there. And if you do have to lay it off and get in the box, you're in the right area to get tap-ins or to get chances at least. But as you said, I think under Sean Dyche, there was long balls going into the channel and he was having to run out there to pick up the ball. And then well, what's he going to do out there? And if he recycles it backwards and it goes to the other side and crossed in, well, he's not going to make up that ground to get in the box. So he's kind of damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. But the way I've kind of looked at it is Everton haven't been big goal scorers, and they've been, over the last couple of years, one of the lowest scoring sides in the Premier League. And that's not just down to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, Beto came into you guys last year who was viewed as a kind of a fan favorite in the club. He'd left and come over and he'd done really well, and then it just all of a sudden he wasn't scoring, and you're like, well, a lot of that has to be down to the style of play as well. And the way I always say about our strikers is, how many goal scoring chances did you really create for those strikers to actually put the ball in the back of the net? And if the answer is zero, then what? Strikers thrive on service. If you're not giving them the ball in the right areas, they're not going to score goals for you. So everyone has to pull their weight with it. But I think he could be a victim of that with Leeds this year. Leeds might need to be more direct, and he might just have to hold the ball up for Leeds. But I think with the players we've got out wide, and we're still looking at another attacking winger and a bit of flair, if they can get those kind of players, I think he will get the service. The question will be, will he be the number 9 to start games for Leeds? Because there is Joe Pirro, as I say, chomping at the bit to show everyone what he can do, and he's a tidy finisher in the box, but he doesn't give you build-up play. Lucas Metz is coming in as an unknown from Germany, but again, when he was fit, he was a German international. So there's a lot of ifs around our attack, and that's the problem Leeds fans have this year. And Calvert-Lewin coming in has just put another caveat of if he does this and if he can stay fit, and it's, you don't get a huge amount of confidence from that. You want someone coming in who's like, well, he's been on form and he's had a good season behind his back and he's fit and he's ready to go. But then you look at the Premier League, and how many years have Arsenal been trying to sign an out-and-out number 9 who's in good form? Years. Everyone wants one. They're not all, and there's not that many available. So you find yourself taking chances on these players, but you hope then. And he's got through his medical. That's the one thing I'm leaning on is I'm sure they've given his hamstring a proper good look. Yeah. And if he's got through that, I'm assuming he's okay at least to go with Leeds. And we had Manor Solomon last year who came in with a ton of injuries. And our medical team was really good at keeping him fit and keeping him healthy. And Farke managed his minutes as well. There was games where all of a sudden he wasn't playing. And you're like, well, we just need to mind his minutes this week because we got 3 games and he's probably not good to play in 2 in a row. So we'll space it out a little bit. I think they'll look at Calvert-Lewin the same way, of especially initially when he's getting up to fitness of, because as you said, and same I think applies for Jack Grealish. Do you really want to put a player in from the start who hasn't played any competitive football in pre-season? Because I think I think it's a guaranteed way to injure the player straight away because it's just a different tempo.
Yeah, it is. It's a big ask. I think, especially with someone like Calvert-Lewin who is brittle, both mentally, I think as well, and physically at the moment. I think he's got to find a new home now and settle into it. And one thing I will say then is, Leeds have to be patient with him. I think we were as patient as we could with him, and I think Leeds fans have to take that on and go, listen, all right, well, we've got him for nothing. He's cost us nothing. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's give him 6 months. Let's give him to Christmas, and if he's still in the same situation or he's picking up the injuries, then you can start maybe criticizing the club, the manager, the player for actually being in this situation. But I think give him time, and that's all I will say to yourself.
I think he gets it though. I think he'll get that because I mean, he's the 8th new signing. And of those 8, maybe 2 are subs. So 6 are going to start in that team. So that's over. Well, over half of your starting 11 is brand new. Whether he's in that or not, I don't know. And they're still planning on bringing in at least 3 more before the window closes. So that's a huge overhaul of players. So that entire squad needs time. I think he's probably coming in at exactly the right time where the spotlight won't be on him. It'll be on the entire new group and see how they all settle in. Yeah. And he might just get that time just as a byproduct of how Leeds have operated this summer. But I think I always say 6-7 games before a team starts to settle into it. And then again, you've got the Premier League and players trying to adjust to that tempo as well. And I remember I was talking to Matty last night, and Matty was telling me about Sammy Smolix because he's involved with Ireland. And he asked Sammy Smolix, like, is there really a difference between the Championship and the Premier League? And he said, massive. If you lose a ball in the Championship, you'll win it back straight away. If you lose in the Premier League, you're going to concede. Like, it's that ruthless. And I think a lot of the Leeds squad coming up need to get used to that really quickly and realise that before any of the new players start to show any kind of form of what they can do.
Sounds okay. So I don't like to ask for predictions, but you do, don't you? That's what
you do, yeah.
YouTube channels are. That's what Give us your predictions for Monday night, then, Ger. Let's go.
Well, my heart is saying a win, but I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I'll go. I think I was thinking about it. If Calvert-Lewin actually plays, every single Evertonian just went, he's going to score and Jack Harrison's going to assist.
I was going to say the narrative on the Leeds side has been Jack Harrison cross, Calvert-Lewin header, Leeds win 2-1, chaos.
And the Evertonian has said the exact same thing. It's like, fucking, you can't. You couldn't write it. No. You know what I mean? It'd be one of those. But I think you coming back into it. I think we've got given our poor friendly period, that like the friendly games that we had, I think we won 1. And that was at Bramley Moor. That was at the new stadium. That was behind closed doors. We hadn't won another game. So I think it matters. Pardon? Do
you think preseason form really matters?
No, because like you said, you brought in 8 new players. We brought in 6, and not we're still trying to bed them in. You lose players to injury very quickly in preseason and stuff like that. So I think I'll go for a 1-1 draw, and I think I'll be happy with it. I'll sit on the fence with it. Probably Beto scoring for us, but I don't see Calvert-Lewin playing on Monday. Like you said, the same with Grealish. I think if Grealish plays 20-30 minutes max, he won't be given a full game.
Yeah, come off the bench and make an impact, but he's a good player to have.
That's it. I think everyone's really excited about it. It's been one of them where that's your marquee signing, but then you still want more because we're greedy, and that's what football fans are.
Everyone's the same. We're never happy, and we had our whole squad sorted out last year. Didn't probably need any signings. Come January, everyone was screaming for a new player. We didn't sign anybody, and still went up with 100 points. So, yeah, we're all greedy. We all want to shine a new tie every 5 minutes. So, yeah.
Oh, well, Ger, thank you for joining me for this. It's been a pleasure. The very, very best of luck for the season after Monday.
Once we get Monday out of the way, same to you.
Once we have Monday out of the way, that's it. But make sure you're liking and subscribing to Falcon Blues TV. As always, if you want to follow Ger on the Leeds View, it's at the Leeds View on Twitter as well. Ger, yeah?
Great. It's the Leeds View on YouTube, and then just my own account on Twitter. It's at Ger Lynch on Twitter.
Great stuff. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up. So we will see you after Monday. Paul's there at Elland Road on Monday night, hopefully with a match reaction if he's not too pissed. But we'll wait and see. Until then, up to fucking toffees. Colin Chong, thank you very much.